Well, good to see everybody. Last night's broadcast was extremely well received. Uh, we told you things were happening extremely powerful. We had salvations. I can't remember if it was 10 or 12 salvations last night. A lot of people were touched by the information we brought forward. And then, of course, we did the interview with Mike from around the world, and we put it on Patreon. It was a live interview with Mike from around the world exclusively on Patreon. And when we do a live interview like that on Patreon, we only have 300 seats that are available in the Zoom room. Those 300 seats were completely filled in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And I know a lot of people were pounding trying to get in. Good news is, of course, when we were done with the interview, it's 35 minutes long. Mike was almost to the point he was stuttering with so much concern of the information he brought forward. But we posted it on Patreon. So if you're a member of Patreon, if you're a member of our Patreon channel, then you can go watch it right now. It's on Patreon right now in the archives. It's right at the very top. You'll see it. Just click on the center of the screen right there, right in the middle of the picture, and it will start playing. Mike is incredible in this interview. And he did it with 300 people sitting in the Zoom room with us. It's a must watch. You must watch this. It is exclusively on Patreon due to this sensitivity of the information. Now, also, let me just say quickly that I was on Coast to Coast last night. Some of you may have heard that interview. It was on from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Now, you can still go listen to it on the Coast to Coast archives. Now, you have to be a subscriber to it. I don't know what that entails, but you can. The interview was, this was my 6th time to be on Coast to Coast in the last 6 years, but by far, this was the best interview of the 6. They ask a lot of great questions. They want to know about the mark of the beast. They want to know about the Antichrist. Who is the Antichrist? How does that happen? How does the Antichrist become the Antichrist? What about the mark of the beast? The mark of the beast technology. What about the wars in Ukraine and Russia? What about the third temple, the red heifer? What does that mean? And on. 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. What does it all mean? The plagues, the apocalyptic plagues. What does it all mean? All this unbelievable. I mean, we covered so much information. It was unbelievable. I can't believe how much ground we covered. George Norrie, though, does a great job interviewing. And I answered as candidly as you can answer. I did. I didn't hold back or pull any punches. Matter of fact, the last hour, I was on for 2 hours. The second hour, he opened up the phone lines for callers, and the callers were great. They called in from all across America, and they asked some really great questions. And I gave them point blank answers because you can't dance around this anymore. We even talked about alien abductions. Okay, and how that relates to biblical prophecy. All of this was covered last night. So if you missed it, you can still listen to it, but you got to go to Coast to do that. Okay, and you got to subscribe to their process. I don't know how it's done. Anyway, I'm not allowed to replay Coast to Coast interviews on any of my platforms because it's copyrighted. So that's the only place you can find it. But I know one thing. I was very thankful to George Norrie, and I'm very, very thankful for the questions. And really, he was really interested. He said to me live on the air, he said, "You're going to be back many times over the next 7 years," because we're in a period of time. I think that we can see the end is nearing. We don't know when, but we can see the end is nearing. Let me just say quickly right now that massive solar flares are affecting the earth tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to get hit. We're going to get waylaid. Some incredible storms. NOAA forecasters say there's a chance that a G2 class geomagnetic storm on October 4th, when multiple CMEs might sideswipe the Earth's magnetic field. They believe it will. The information I've got on this is quite extraordinary. And let me get to that. Here's what they're saying. Multiple massive CMEs are coming. According to the NOAA forecasters, they say there is a high chance of a G2 class geomagnetic storm to hit the Earth on October the 4th, tomorrow, when multiple CME might sideswipe the Earth's magnetic field. Most of the incoming CMEs are hurled into space by sunspot AR3110, which unleashed a series of strong flares, M class 5.9, M class 8.7, and an X class 1, which is huge. These three huge CMEs were all released from the sun over the weekend. In the G2 class storms, naked eye auroras can descend into the United States as low as New York and Idaho. We're going to feel the effects of this. Radiation is going to be off the charts. And one of the biggest sunspots in years has just now rotated over the sun's northeastern limb. And that's introducing one called AR3112. That one is very dangerous if it releases. Matter of fact, sunspot AR3112 has more than a dozen dark cores scattered across 130,000 kilometers of solar terrain, making it an easy target for backyard solar telescopes if you have one. Now, the image is the magnetics map of the sun's surface. It has with all of these holes in it. That means there's holes in the sun's magnetic atmosphere. Okay, that's the sun's atmosphere. If that's the case, when it releases these explosions on the sun of solar flares, there's nothing there to stop it to come our way. And because our magnetosphere is weakened, has been weakened for some time now, and is getting weaker by the minute, we are very, very vulnerable to the power of these CMEs and radiation. And this is what's causing massive earthquakes, increased volcanoes, increasing radiation levels, just increasing the shifting and the changing of the jet streams, and it's affecting the current water currents and the temperatures, and everything on the earth is being affected by these very, very delicate situation that's developing. We've hit a time in where people, I think, need to understand we're living in the last days for sure. It's not a cliche. It is a factual truth. And people need to understand just how serious it's getting. And so I'm going to highly recommend that you pray and protect yourself. Okay? Pray and protect yourself and be vigilant, be awake. I was just talking to my barber today, who actually is his brother, because my barber died this week. He was 90 years old and he died of cancer. But his brother was the other. The two of them were running the shop together. And so as he was cutting my hair, I was talking about Joe passing away and all that. But then he showed me what happened. Not only did my barber Joe die this week of cancer, that he fought gallantly. He cut my hair just last month. Though he was on hospice, he was still coming to work at the age of 90. But he died on Monday. But then on Thursday, Hurricane Ian slammed into Fort Myer, destroying his home and his boat. Also, his brother, who cut my hair today, destroyed his home and his boat, their summer homes and their boats, all destroyed. And he showed me pictures, and I couldn't believe what I saw. Piles and piles of boats, even big fishing boats piled way off the shore into the land. Houses and mobile homes and just completely blown away, destroyed. As far as your eye could see, this was a devastating situation. Thank you so much. Someone said, great to hear you on Coast to Coast last night, Pastor Paul. Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed that interview. I felt very comfortable and very free and able to express the truth. I mean, I really didn't hold back. I think anybody who listens to it will know that. I got a chance to talk about the coming of Jesus Christ, the fact that he is the answer. He is the Messiah. That one man called in and said he didn't believe that there was no God, and I had to say to him, with all due respect, you're dead wrong. There is a God, but for the most part, this was not very confrontational at all. This was a very, very open. Uh, People's ears were open to hear what the Spirit said to the churches, and Christians were calling in prayer. And George was very open to hear what the Bible says about things. I think you'll find this extraordinary interview to be on secular radio on coast to coast. Over 2 million people listening last night across America. Thank God. I give God all the glory. I give all the praise and all the glory that the gospel of Jesus Christ could go out across the airwaves on coast to coast. And I was able to freely talk about Jesus Christ as the Savior, the Messiah, the Redeemer of mankind. And I was also to talk about the Antichrist, and that his father is Lucifer, the devil. I talked about the Illuminati and how that their God is Lucifer, and that they're training. I believe the Antichrist is alive today. I believe he doesn't know who he is yet. I think he's been chosen. He's being groomed as one of maybe 10 potentially candidates. There's a lot going on now. So quickly now, we have moved into another level um, of issues, of timing. And so these solar flares, massive solar flares, headed toward the Earth tomorrow. We're going to get smacked by it. It's going to be incredible. Look out for potential, blackouts on radio systems, shortwave, ham radios, other radio, internet could be affected. Even power grids could be affected. We're in a different world now. We've entered a different realm of events taking place, and so, wow, it's time people wake up, realize that Jesus is coming back. And the question is, are you saved? This is a serious question. It's not one we just throw out there. The question truly is, have you given your life to Jesus Christ? Are you saved? It's on my music CD, Harmonize and Prophesy. Guys, I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. Keep looking up keep looking up, for your redemption draweth near. It's very close. Very, very close. This is the Salvation Station. God bless.